everyone. Come on in because we are here, y'all. We are here for Tia Mowry's reality TV show called My Next Act. We are on episode 3. This is her first season, and she's calling the show The Love of Cairo. But all of you who watch my channel, you know I like to rename some of my titles sometimes. And so I am going to rename this video Tia's Divorce Wake Up Call. That's what I'm going to call it, y'all. That's what I'm going to call it. But before I get started, hey everyone, as you come in the door, please don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to chime along down in the chat or down in the comment section when you hear something that you want to comment on, whether you like it or whether you don't like it. Like I always tell everyone, you don't have to like everything I said. Just be nice about it. Just be nice about it. And for all of y'all who keep dropping down in my comments saying, oh, why don't I leave this woman alone, that I'm somehow obsessed with Tia because I'm reviewing her reality TV show. That's weird, y'all. That's weird that it's called obsessed because you're reviewing and recapping a reality TV show. I don't know. But I'm not obsessed, y'all. I'm not obsessed. In fact, I want to tell everyone here right now that this is one of my favorite reality TV shows on right now. Absolutely. It's one of my favorite shows on right now. And I'm going to tell you why I like it. Because I have always been a fan of reality TV when it first came out. And the reason why I liked reality TV was because I thought it showed real lives. Real lives. But over the course of time, reality TV has turned from reality to being scripted, to being just a women fighting with each other. And what I like about, or only showing the good parts of these people's lives. They only really want to show you the fabulousness, but they don't want to show you the other parts of some of these hard calls that are going out here in people's lives. And so, or they create fake drama. They'll show you negative stuff, but then they want to create fake drama. What I like about Tia's show is, one is I want to say that I really believe she's being really, really authentic. She's being really authentic, and that I commend her on. And what I also like that she's doing is I think a lot of people are learning. A lot of people. I read my comments. I know I'm behind in responding to everyone, but I try to read as many as I can. I'm going to try to catch up over this weekend. But I think this reality TV show that Tia has put together is teaching a lot of people a lot of lessons about a lot of different things. Family, friendships, sisterhood, divorce, marriage. No matter where you fall, what you believe in, what you don't believe in, what you agree with, what you don't agree with, what I like that Tia's doing is she's showing a different side, right? It may not be the side for everyone. Like, there are a lot of people who can relate to this reality TV show. And for that, I commend her. I mean, I really do commend her, especially in this world of reality TV that we're in right now, when it's a lot about bickering and arguing. This right here, this can help somebody. This can really help someone. But in helping someone, the sad part about it is Tia has to suffer. Because Tia really could have used her own reality TV show. Because I think if Tia had seen a different woman doing the reality TV show that she's doing now, I'm not saying she wouldn't have gotten a divorce. She probably still, maybe she still would have, but she would have been better prepared for divorce. Because Tia's got two problems. One is, like I said before, I don't even know if she should have gotten a divorce based on what we're hearing. And we're going to even hear more now where she says, oh, my marriage really wasn't all that bad. I know that, Tia. It wasn't that bad. But even if she would have decided to go ahead with the divorce, I think she would have been better prepared. And I know a lot of you have been talking about how, you've gone through divorce and you can relate to Tia because you had these moments of sadness and doubt. I don't know how long your sadness lasted. I really don't. But we are now in year 2 with Tia of her divorce. And I said, we're in year 2 of the divorce, which means the demise of the relationship, which you go through, breaking up, living in separate homes, that had to have happened at least 6 months before the divorce. It takes at least 6 months to get a divorce. So we're talking about almost 2.5, 3 years, and Tia is still crying in her bedroom. Every scene is Tia crying about some moment. So there are some women, there are some men and women who are built for marriage. There are some men and women who aren't built for relationships. They're actually better off single. I'm going to say that Tia's not a person who's built to be single. And I think she's really struggling with it. And I think she's getting a wake-up call because I think she's starting to realize some things about herself that even though she may not have enjoyed everything about marriage, these other parts out here, they're not for her. I predict that Tia's going to get remarried. I do. I predict she's going to get remarried because although she may start to enjoy some things of single life, there are just too many things about married life that brings her comfort, and she's going to want to go back into it. And hopefully she'll find someone. And when she does find that person and she goes into her second marriage, I think she'll have a different level of appreciation of the marriage. I don't think she had a full appreciation of her marriage because I think she focused on what was wrong with it, not what was right. But I think the next time that she goes into marriage, she'll go in with a different perspective. It's unfortunate that her marriage had to crumble in order for her to realize this. That's why I'm calling this a wake-up call. Because I know they titled it The Love of Cairo, but really what this is about is the love of Tia. Because Cairo, this was another party for Tia. But I know that was a long introduction. So let me get into it. First of all, I want to say Tia's house is very lovely. She's got a nice touch when it comes to decorating. I love Tia's style, the way she dresses. I love her touches in her home. I like a lot of things about Tia. I really, really do. But I'm thinking, Tia, you're going to need to brighten up this bedroom of yours because this bedroom is dark. It's dark. It's sophisticated. I get it. Maybe it would be nice if, you wanted like a nice, sexy, sort of dark vibe. But the place that Tia's in, she's already sort of got darkness in her heart and her mind. And I think she needs to lighten up her bedroom. I think she needs to repaint her bedroom with some nicer colors to help lift her mood. Because I'm telling you, seeing Tia cry in the dark in this dark room with all these gray walls can get a bit depressing. So, I know you got a stylist, you got an assistant. Bring in an interior decorator, pick out a new paint color, Tia, and let's paint this bedroom. Let's paint this bedroom. What Tia is showing a lot of people is that nice things take a lot of work. Nice things take a lot of work. And like I said, this show is showing the reality of things. Oftentimes you see people coveting or envying different things of different people's lives, but yet those people don't know what it takes to get those things. And those people don't know what it takes to take care of those things. Any of y'all got some kids who are looking at maybe what you've established in life already? Maybe you have a nice job or a nice car or a nice house. And you got young kids who say, well, I want a car like you, mommy. I want a car like you, daddy. I want a house like you. I'm living in an apartment, or I want this. You start to learn that nice things take work. And that's the same thing as marriage. A nice marriage takes work. Sometimes it's nice to look at it on the outside and be, oh, look how nice and shiny the marriage is. People don't realize how much work it takes. Just like you have a nice car. Any of y'all got a nice car out there, a car that's expensive? And when you get ready to take it to the shop to get something done, you get hit with a $3,000 bill. And you say, wow, $3,000 just for a little bitty old, oil change and a couple of belts getting changed or whatever else. And then someone else can take in, a more modest car like a Honda and they only have to spend $200. Nice cars cost money. Nice cars take money. You guys ever go out in a nice car? You got to valet it. You're too afraid that somebody's going to hit your nice car. So you valet your car. Guess what? That costs money. You got a nice car. You got to make sure it's clean. Guess what? You got to spend $20, $25 to get it washed. Who knows how much to get it detailed? The insurance is higher on a nice car. Nice things cost money, just like buying a home. Oh, I want a home. People say they want a home. Guess what? Homes cost money. You got to repair homes. You got to do outside landscaping. You got homeowners insurance. You got insurance, regular insurance. You got to fix things on your own. There's no landlord to come and do it for you. So although you may want it, do you want the responsibility of it? You see what I'm saying? Just like high paying jobs. Well, if you're getting paid a lot of money, they depending on you for some stuff. You just can't call in sick all the time. When people are paying you a lot of money on your job, you just can't be calling in sick all the time and deciding you only going to work 7 hours a day. You own your own business. You can't call in sick all the time. You can't take days off necessarily when you want to take days off. You can't even always go on vacation when you want to, because when you work for yourself, you don't really get paid vacation. You may take it, but it's not paid. Some businesses, unless you're making money while you're traveling, some businesses, people don't make money while they're gone. So they don't even end up taking vacations. Nice things take money. And to have a nice marriage, it takes a lot of work. And what Tia's also finding out is not only is marriage work, she's finding out that divorce is work. She's finding out that, you know what, she was tired of doing all that hard work in her marriage. It got too hard for her. She didn't want to do it anymore. And what she decided was to go on over to divorce. And now what she's finding out is divorce is hard work too. Divorce is hard work. Marriage is hard work. Being single is hard work. Okay, it's all hard work. Ain't nothing easy in life. Pick your poison. This idea that people are looking for the easiest thing to do that's going to give them the most satisfaction. Let me pick the easiest thing to do that I can do the least amount of work in. And they think, well, I'll be married. Nope, marriage is work. Okay, I'm going to be single. Dang, single, it's hard being single too. I'll get a divorce. Now Tia's finding out it is hard getting divorced. So what we got going on this episode is Tia starting to find out that single life is hard. It's hard to juggle an acting career, a reality TV show, 2 kids, especially one that's only 6 years old, right? And all the other gigs she's trying to do, plus navigate the emotional wear and tear that has come on from her divorce. And she's saying, wow, single life is hard. It's not as easy as I thought it was going to be. Her assistant and her best friend are one of her good friends. We talked about them last week with their bad advice. Very, very bad advice. They didn't stop, y'all. They did not stop. They continued to go on this street of bad advice. And this time they decide to keep it going and find a date for Tia. And they end up picking her a man that's out of state. A man that's out of state, 10 years younger than her. A man that says he's really never dated a woman with kids, and really, he said he would be open to it, but he's not really open to it. He's a man that's probably just as busy as her husband was, because this man tells us he's a school counselor. He also teaches or coaches basketball. He also runs a nonprofit, and he lives in Rhode Island. So if you didn't think you had no time with your husband because your husband was busy doing whatever, or you're busy doing whatever, and you think what I'll do is I'll become single again and I'll find me a man that's got a lot of time for me, then guess what? Wrong. All you've really done is you traded a husband that was really busy to a man out here who's really busy. Everybody's busy. Who do you know sitting around doing nothing? And if they are sitting around doing nothing, do you really want them? Do you really want them? And all of you who said that she was tired of dating Corey because Corey is broke, let me tell you something. I'm quite sure that wherever Corey is right now, whatever house he's living in, whether it's rented or owned, and he's in California, in the LA area, or anywhere in the Valley, Sherman Oaks, Encino, which is where she lives with her children, he's paying at a minimum for a house to rent $8,000 a month. A minimum. That's $8,000 that could have been in their household a month. You know how many fabulous trips they could have gone on for a family for $8,000 a month? They're over here throwing this party for the little daughter this episode because she's 6. You know what $8,000 in a month could have done? That could have bought a whole lot of happiness. That could have bought a whole lot of trips to Paris and France and Germany and Latin America and South America and Southeast Asia. Please. So anyway, they decide they're going to hook her up with this man named Charles. We're going to get to that later on. And they decide they're going to catfish him again like they did last episode. So they meet up with Charles. And Charles is once again, he's like, who are these ladies? Because this is not who I met online. They go, yeah. He goes, oh, are you her representatives? And they say, yes, we're here to screen you and ask you some questions to see if you're worthy of Tia. And if you are, we'll let you move on to the next round. And he said, okay, I'm up for the challenge. I'm up for the competition to see if I could win a date with Tia. He said he does like to push himself. He does like to push himself beyond comfort zones. So they start off with him and they say, do you like to cook? He says, I like to eat breakfast. That ain't the question. So there you go. Tia, I guess, I know Tia's a good cook from what we know. I think she has a cookbook. She had a cooking show. Maybe Tia got tired of doing all the cooking in the family. So they wanted to say, do you like to cook? Because Tia was tired of cooking for Corey and the family all the time. And she wished that Corey knew how to cook and he never learned how. So do you like to cook? And he basically says, I like to eat breakfast. That's not the answer. I'll take that as a no. That means no, he doesn't like to cook, but he sure likes to eat breakfast. So there we go. Now we got a man. You ain't traded up yet. We haven't seen a traded up yet. But what they like about him is he looks good. He's fine. That's what the girlfriend said. He's fine. And later on, they tell Tia, if you don't want him, I'll take him. There you go. Do you really want a man that your best girlfriends are swooning over? Not me. Not me. I don't want my girlfriends to be running around talking about how fine my husband is, and they'll take him if I don't want him. That don't end well sometimes when your girlfriends are swooning over your husband talking about how fine he is, and if you don't want him, I'll take him. That's probably how Tia got here right now. I bet Tia was running around complaining about Corey, and a lot of them girlfriends was looking at Corey saying, yeah, girl, divorce him, because the minute you put him back on the market, I'll take him. I'll take him. That's when they ask him, okay, well, what do you do for a living? And he says, I'm a school counselor full-time, and then I referee basketball part-time. Wait a minute, you got a full-time job and a part-time job? Yep, I sure do. And then I run a nonprofit and I donate shoes to, I don't know, needy kids or something. What, you do all that? You got a full-time job as a school counselor, you referee basketball, and you donate shoes to kids. So they go, oh, this is so fantastic. He likes giving back. You must really like kids. Do you have any children? He said, yeah, I got a daughter. He says, okay, well, how do you think about dating a woman that already has kids too? He goes, oh, I don't know about that. So wait a minute. You a school counselor. You referee basketball for kids and you donate to kids. But when it comes to dating a woman with the kids, you got to think about that. This is reality. Here is a wake-up call, people. Here's a wake-up call. A lot of people like kids, but they only like their kids. They really don't always want to be dealing with someone else's kids. They really don't. Here is a wake-up call thinking that just because people like kids, they're going to want to be a step parent to your kids. Nope, that's not how it works. Like I said, it's a wake-up call, Tia. It's a wake-up call. And then these ladies go on and they start asking some other crazy questions like, what shoe size do you wear? He says a size 12. They go, ooh, I like it. I'm surprised they didn't say, let me look at your hands to see how big your hands are. We know what they're getting to when they're asking him his shoe size. Ladies, we know exactly what you getting to. So then they say, well, how tall are you? He goes, ooh, he's 6'4". Ooh, that's great. Because Tia likes to wear her nice high heels, and she's going to like that. How old are you? A 37. Uh-oh. 37? He's 10 years younger than Tia. They sure didn't ask him, would you be willing to date a woman that's 10 years older than you? Maybe he would, but why didn't you ask the questions, ladies? Why didn't you ask the questions? They so busy over here trying to find out somebody's shoe size to see what he's going to be like in the bedroom. They're not even finding out whether or not this man is going to like Tia. They're so busy trying to see if Tia likes him. They haven't figured out would this man even want Tia. They say, okay, we got some other questions for you. What are your love languages? He says, oh, I love words of affirmation. He likes a woman to pump him up and tell him nice things and all these other kind of things. Tia, get ready. Tia probably thought, oh, I got to pump up Corey so much. I always got to tell him things and pump up his ego. I'm tired of carrying a man. I'm tired of having to stroke his ego all the time. Remember, she was talking about how everything a woman does has to be about making a man feel good. And here she is on a date with a man, and that man tells her, my love language, well, she ain't on the date yet. My love language is words of affirmation. And there you go, Tia. I guess you're going to have to be stroking some more egos. I tell you, you get one thing, and all you do is go back and get in a whole nother man. All you do is go back and get in a whole nother man. This man said, they asked him, what are you looking for in a mate, in a woman? And he says, I'm looking for the right woman to take a little bit of a pressure off. So that must mean you're going to want her to do a little bit of work. There you go. There you go. You think you overwhelmed with your husband. You think you overwhelmed with your family. You think you're going to go out and get a man in which that man is not going to want anything from you, is not going to want you to contribute to his life or take any pressure off his life. Nope. 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 All you're doing is trading one man for another. So when you get ready to make the trade, okay, ain't nobody telling people to stay in unhappy marriages, but you really better make sure that whatever you think you're about to trade, that what you're about to trade for is available to you. It's available to you. They was happy to meet this guy, Charles. They said he's checking off all the boxes. And he said, that's good because I deserve someone good and someone special. Okay. We're going to talk about it later on when they go out to dinner. But the show was actually really good. Look, they had some really funny scenes. And after after the ladies got to interview him and, figure out what he was all about, they went back to Tia. They couldn't wait back to get to her dark bedroom. This time, at least she wasn't crying in the bedroom. And they said, girl, we found you one. We got a winner for you. Girl, he's so fine. He's so fine. And he's tall and he likes to give back to other people's kids, not your kids, to other people's kids. He don't really want to give back to your kids. And guess what, Tia? We booked you a date for next week. And so all of a sudden, Tia starts to get scared. She gets scared and she starts to get nervous because she said, just thinking about being with someone new and someone different after being with someone for 22 years makes me so nervous. Like I said, be prepared. Be prepared. And Tia wasn't prepared for what would come after marriage. I don't know who Tia was talking to, but they didn't prepare her well. They told her about all the other things with divorce, but they must not have sat down and really told her what divorce looks like. I think Tia went into this divorce not knowing a lot, y'all. Not knowing. It's so obvious. So she's so nervous. And they say, girl, don't worry about it. Don't get so nervous about it. This is just about socializing. They trying to ease her into this single life. She goes, single life, they're trying to tell her, this ain't about nothing serious, Tia. You talking too serious about me, someone. This is just about socializing, going out on dinner dates and having a good time. This is why men are tired of taking out women, because there are too many women who are looking at dates for just going out and having a good time and eating dinner. And dinner's too expensive. So now what women are telling other women is, dating is just like socializing. All you got to do is go out on dates, get free dinners, free drinks, and have a good time. There's no pressure to be in a relationship. You don't have to give a man nothing. This is what people are telling women. And then what women are finding out is, dang, men don't even want to take women out no more. They sure don't. They don't want to take you out. One is because there's too many women out here doing what these women are telling Tia. And that is, don't be serious about the dating. Just go out there and socialize. Expect the man to pay for these fancy dinners, $200 dinners, okay? And you ain't got no pressure on you to do nothing. You don't have to really be interested in them. You don't have to be ready to commit. This is just socializing, experimenting, and it don't cost you nothing. That's what people tell you when they say, hey, girl, don't worry about it. It's all free. It's all taken care of. You ain't got to do nothing. Just show up for the date because you know what? The production company's going to pay for it or the man pays for everything. And then women get out here in the world and they realize, nope, men are not paying for all this stuff. They're not taking you out on no fancy dates. They want to talk to you on the phone, and some of them don't even want to do that. All they want to do is text you. And if they do invite you out, all they want to do is invite you to coffee because they're not willing to spend $200, $300 on a date with you, and they don't know nothing about you. Like I said, it's a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call. So when you were sitting over there talking about how you ain't got no date nights with your husband because of everything else, and guess what? Now you're not going to have no date nights even in the single world because men ain't taking women out. This is the real world, people. This is the real world, and that's why I love this reality TV show. That's when their girlfriends say, girl, if you don't take the deal of a free date and some free drinks sitting in front of a fine man who lives all the way in Rhode Island, who really said he don't have no time and who really said that he's not really interested all that much in dating a woman with kids, what the single woman said was, I'll take him. They said, I'll take him. All that time they was telling you to divorce your husband because there's a whole lot of good things out here. Right now, they're telling you, I will take the man that lives thousands of miles away from California to Rhode Island. Just told you he's got 3 jobs. He's a school counselor. He's a part-time basketball referee. He runs a nonprofit. He already got 1 child that he's committed to and helping raise. And this is what your friends are telling you. I'll take him, girl. They'll take him because he's fine. So then Tia switches over and says, we got to plan this birthday party for my daughter, Cairo. And she starts talking to her assistant, Tia. She goes, you know what, Ciara? I just love our dynamic. You know, even though you work for me and you're my assistant, I just love our friend dynamic. Because what Tia's starting to talk about is she misses the friendship of her own sister. So she likes the dynamic with Cairo. She likes the dynamics with Ciara because Ciara is almost like her sister substitute. So what Tia has done is she's gotten rid of her husband. She's going to substitute him for people like Charles. And then what happened is she's in a rift with her own sister Tamara, and she's going to substitute her sisterhood for Ciara. Okay, all these substitutes, I hope they're an upgrade. I sure hope they're an upgrade. So they're planning a party for Ciara, and originally Tia says she wants to plan a princess party for Cairo. Not planning a party for Ciara. She's planning a party for Cairo, her daughter. And so then all of a sudden now she starts to cry again. More tears, Tia, more tears. Yep, this time she's crying because she says that planning this party for Cairo reminds her of how before, when she was planning a party, she was planning it with someone else, being, I guess, Corey. And now it's just going to be no Corey and no more of the family unit. And now what she's also looking at is she's starting to feel an overwhelming need to overcompensate. So now she's doing what a lot of divorced parents do. They feel so guilty of breaking up the family that they start to spoil their children in other ways because they're trying to make up for the pain they believe they caused in their children's life. And what Tia points out to is that, you know, she knows that her divorce was hard on the children. So she wants to make this party extra special, which means being extra special means spending more money. Spending more money. So if you thought you had money concerns while you were married, all those people out there saying she got divorced over carrying the load of money in the family. If you thought you had money problems before, now you split up your house. Corey's over here paying $8,000 a month. You've got to now pay the mortgage of the house that you got in divorce. And now you've got to throw a $3,000 birthday parties for your daughter because you've got to overcompensate for feeling guilty for breaking up the family. So she decides she's going to plan this princess party. But in the end, Cairo decides, I don't want a princess party. I want a llama party with a real live llama. Woo! Tia says, a princess party. I thought I was going to get away with a little jumper and maybe putting a princess dress on you. And now you're telling me, no, I got to bring in some live llamas. Yep, that's what you got to do. You got to bring in some live llamas, and you're going to have to do it because now you feel very guilty that you done broken up the home, and you're going to have to really go an extra level higher to overcompensate for all your guilt. And she says she's going to do it. She does not care how much money it costs, because she does not want Cairo to feel as if there's any change in the dynamics of the household. And so, but she, you know, Tia's feeling it. She's really feeling it because she says, I'm doing all this by myself. I'm doing it all alone. And she goes, I'm not even a person that likes a lot of change. And so right now, even planning this birthday party, which the party is supposed to be for Cairo, in a lot of ways, this party is also for Tia. Because Tia's doing it alone, but Tia also wants a lot of people surrounding her because she feels alone in planning the party. So she says she can't do it alone. She can't do it alone. She says she used to do it by herself when Corey was around planning the party. But planning the party by yourself, it feels a lot different than being in the party feeling alone. And I think that's what Tia is starting to see. I think Tia is starting to see the difference between doing some activities by yourself, but also feeling alone or lonely. I think she's starting to figure out the different things. But right now, she's saying that she needs some support. So she calls in her cousin Jerome, and she says it's her best cousin ever. He knows her so well. And she's sitting in a room once again. She's back in this dark bedroom crying again. And she's crying to her cousin. And she's crying because no one has RSVP'd for the party. No one. So all these people who said they were going to be here for her when she got her divorce, they're nowhere around. They're nowhere to be found. Her sister, I guess, is not coming. Cairo's cousins from her sister, I guess, are not coming. I don't even know if Tia's son is going to be there because we know he doesn't even want to be on camera. Corey's not there. This ain't turning out the way Tia thought. None of this is turning out the way Tia thought. So Jerome calls her and says, listen, I know I didn't RSVP for your party, but I'm going to be there for you and I'm going to come. So she's so happy and excited that he's going to come. And I'm thinking that Tia is so close to Jerome, but come to find out that Jerome says, well, I know that when I was going to come to this party, it was going to be the first time I even saw Cairo, but I know now I need to come for you. So he was originally going to come for Cairo that he's never even seen. So I really don't know how close they could be if he's never even seen her daughter. And later on, we find out that the last time she saw her cousin was at a funeral for his mother, which would be her aunt. And that was like over a year ago or so. So I'm starting to find out that Tia doesn't have a lot of people around her. Like I said, there's no sister at the birthday party, no cousins, none of her brothers. I think she's got 2 brothers. They aren't at the birthday party. Corey's not at the birthday party. I don't even know if her son was at the birthday party. We find out that Tia's cousin is the first time that he's even seen Cairo, and Cairo is now turning 6 years old. You're starting to learn a lot about Tia's relationships. Later on, Jerome lets something slip, and he says, you know what? He met Cairo for the first time, and he realizes that Cairo is just like Tia. She got an attitude, and she's very feisty. I don't think Tia knows what a handful she is in relationships. And you can tell just by what's going on when you see who's around her, how difficult Tia might be in relationships, how much work she might be, how much strain she could be on friendships or relationships. And until she takes some responsibility of her role in relationships and she thinks she's going to go out and find someone who just wants to sort of deal with it, she's going to struggle. She's going to struggle because I found it really odd that no one from her family was at the birthday party. And then when she calls Jerome her best cousin, he hasn't even seen her daughter, and her daughter is 6 years old. That doesn't scream closeness to me. It doesn't at all. But then they have a little scene where she's practicing yoga with her friend Natasha. Remember, Natasha's one of the ones with the bad advice. And once again, she's crying. Every moment makes Tia cry. Every moment. And she's saying, now that I'm realizing I have to move on. It's been 3 years, 2.5 years. Yes, you've got to move on. And she says, I've got to move on with life. And she says, not only do I have to move on, I've got to figure it out along the way as I'm moving on. Yep, that's what it looks like. And that tells me furthermore that no one prepared Tia for the road that she's on. And all she did was probably talk to people who didn't prepare her for this road. She's so unprepared for the road that she's on. And that tells me that did she really make the decision sober-minded? Because unless you know the road you're about to go on that's helping you, you're not going to know everything. But Tia seems really lost, as if she had no idea this is what it would look like. And she says, yeah, now I feel like I've got to put on this act and act like everything is okay. But yet I'm torn up inside. Wait a minute, Tia. You told us before you were putting on an act in your marriage, that you were pretending like your marriage was perfect, and that was an act. Now you're telling me that now that you're divorced, you've got to put on another act to show that you're happy, but you're really not happy even in your divorce? Okay, at this point in time, Tia, maybe you need to stop acting, period, because I don't know who's asking you to act like this. It almost seems as if the act you're putting on, Tia, is not for other people, it's for yourself. And you think you're doing it for other people, like you said, oh, I had to put on an act in my marriage like I was happy and had a perfect life, but it wasn't the truth. Now you're trying to put on an act, you say, in front of other people and act like you've got it all together and that you're really navigating this divorce really well. And what you're saying is that's an act too. Girl, you don't look like you're navigating divorce well. It's like I said about her when she was talking about her marriage wasn't perfect. I don't know who Tia thought she was fooling when she was saying that she was putting on an act in her marriage. And the only person I can say is when she was talking to single people, because married people already know divorce. Married people already know that marriage is not perfect. And who is she putting on an act for now in divorce? Because divorced people always also know that divorce is not easy. The only one who is fooled and that has an act is Tia. She's the only one fooled by all this. But finally, Jerome shows up in town. He gets to meet Cairo. He gives her a great big hug. And then she starts asking Jerome, how have things been with you? What's going on? And Jerome starts saying, you know what, girl, life be lifing. He said he got anxiety. He has to take Xanax for his anxiety. And Tia says, ooh, can I have half? Can I have some Xanax to calm down my anxiety well? And she tried to laugh it off, but she was serious. It might be what you need, Tia. Tia definitely needs some medication. I told y'all that before, that Tia needs some medication to calm her down. Just a little bit. Like she said, she may not need a full Xanax pill, but she might need at least half of one. Half of one. That's what I've been saying about Tia. Tia needs some medical help. And maybe by Jerome sharing with her that, girl, I got to take Xanax to calm me down, maybe Tia will go on over there to a doctor and figure out that maybe she could use a little bit of help too. Just a little bit, Tia, a half a pill, something. You need something. And then we hear Jerome say one of the most crazy things I've ever heard when it comes to Tia in this situation with divorce. And Tia's, of course, talking about how tough it is. Once again, marriage is tough. Single life is tough. Raising kids is tough. Everything's tough. We get it, Tia. Life is tough. We all out here living it. We are all out here living it. And she says it's just so much hard stuff to do. And Jerome tells Tia, girl, you've always done tough things in life. The only difference is it just looks different now because now you're doing tough things by yourself. I said, what? Is that supposed to cheer you up? Okay. So we all acknowledge that life is tough or has tough moments. So what Jerome says, you've always gone through tough moments, Tia. Yeah, like everybody else, we all got tough moments. And he says, you've always made it through those tough moments. We are a resilient family. You're right. We're a tough family. We're resilient. We all can bounce back. He goes, the only difference now is that you got to go through those tough moments alone. Well, that's what makes it tougher, Jerome. The fact that you got to go through tough moments alone. You see, this is the fantasy. The fantasy is people believe that when you get married, you don't have no tough moments. So this is the fantasy. The fantasy is when you get married, you don't have tough moments. That's the fantasy. No, people. The difference is you still have tough moments, but you don't have to go through them alone. And so now you have Tia sitting here going, wow, I thought that after I got divorced, I wouldn't have no more tough moments. No, you still got tough moments. And on top of that, you got to go through them alone. This stuff is crazy, y'all. It is absolutely wild. I'm telling you, the best reality TV show on right now. One of the best. He says, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Tia. You got somebody who's going to be there with you. I'm going to be there with you. And so will your daughter, Cairo. Wait a minute. Jerome, Cairo even met you for 5 years. The last time I saw you was at a funeral. How you gonna be there for me? You ain't even nowhere around. You obviously you out of state. Oh boy, that's what I'm telling you. All these promises, I'll be there for you. And Cairo, how's Cairo gonna be there for Tia? Tia need to be there for Cairo. Cairo only 6 years old. There ain't gonna be too much. I mean, yeah, she's there for you because she'll give you some bright days. Your child's gonna brighten your day in some days. But for the most part, Cairo is dependent on Tia. Cairo is dependent on Tia. So, like I said, another fake promise that I'll be there for you. Yeah, just like Tia said about her sister Tamara. We're not as close as we used to be because we've all got our own lives. And I wish I could just pick up the phone and call my sister, but we all got lives. That's the same thing with Jerome. People don't have time for you like you think they have time for you because people have got their own lives. They've got their own lives. And when you're single and you have other people, they have their own lives. So you're not always going to have all these moments of someone always there for you, always around you, doesn't mean you don't have good sisters, good friends, or whatever, but everyone's not going to always be available for you all the time exactly when you need them. It's just a fantasy. It really is just a fantasy. But then we get to a really funny scene because one thing is Tia is funny. She is funny. They decide they're going to go out and look for some llamas for this birthday party, and they get to this farm that doesn't end up being a llama farm. It ends up being an alpaca farm. Tell you the truth, I can't tell the difference between them either, Tia. I really can't tell. And Tia says, how you got me out here at this alpaca farm and I got on my Givenchy's, my 6-inch Givenchy's. And she says, I know I'm looking fly, but I am not out here in this farm or dressed right. And they had some really funny moments feeding the alpacas. The alpacas are sneezing in their face. It was funny. And Tia's laugh is very, very funny. It's infectious. And it was funny. It was entertaining. Like I said, one thing about the girlfriends and Jerome, he added to the funny. There's some really funny, light moments. So it goes from funny to light to seeing Tia cry in the bedroom. But Tia's having a good time because she feels like this is what she likes. Them all planning a birthday party together because what Tia likes is a lot of attention and people around her. And she's liking the attention she's getting from her assistant. She's liking the attention that Jerome is giving her. She likes the teamwork. She says the teamwork makes dream work. And she loves the energy of other people. And that's why I say that Tia is a woman who needs to be in a relationship. And she needs to come to reconcile what she's got to do work in the relationship. For her to believe that the relationship is just going to be there to serve her is not, and not her serve the relationship, that's probably where she was going wrong. The relationship probably did die between she and Corey, but one of the things I think she thought was that the problem was Corey. No, it was that both of you guys probably need to reinvest in the relationship. And what Tia did instead was she dissolved the relationship. And now she's realizing she's really a better person when she's in teamwork with someone. Just like she's saying, I love planning this party with Ciara. I love planning this party with Jerome. That's the type of thing that Tia needs in her life. And that takes work. It takes work. Just like sisterhood takes work, friendships take work, marriages take work. And if y'all think the crying is over, you're wrong, because then she's got to go pick up these gifts. Remember, she turned her ring into gifts for Cairo. She broke up the diamond in her own ring, and she made some jewelry for her son. She made him a dog tag with a diamond in it. She made Cairo, I think, an ankle bracelet or a bracelet, and then she made herself, I think, a necklace out of it. So she's got to go pick up this gift, this new jewelry, and of course she cries in front of the jeweler, and she goes, oh, it just makes me cry because this feels like it's so final. And the jeweler says, girl, I'm tired of you crying in front of me. How long you been divorced? He says it should be liberating. That's what I said. She should be liberated, but she don't feel liberated. She's over here crying in front of the jeweler, and he's trying to snap her out of it. He says, yeah, lady. Yeah. Let me show you the jewelry I got for you. Because at this point in time, you should not be sitting in front of me crying over no divorce. You should feel liberated. That's why people get divorced, to feel liberated, but you over here are depressed. She said, you know what? Yeah, because, I knew I never really wanted to get rid of my ring. I didn't want to sell it. I didn't want to just get rid of it because it would have felt like I was just, throwing my marriage away. Well, girl, that's kind of what you did. That is kind of what you did. So you didn't want to have that feeling about your ring. You didn't want to just give it away or sell it because it felt like you were just kind of throwing it away. But in a lot of ways, that's kind of what you did with your marriage. Sorry to tell you, you know what? Tia need a truth teller in her life. People are sitting around Tia not telling her the truth. Tia, of all those friends you have, you need one truth teller. One truth teller that's going to tell you the hard, honest truth, even if it doesn't make you feel good. Because like I said, this episode is a wake-up call to Tia. And this wake-up call should not have come at this moment. The wake-up call should have come way before so that she could have made these decisions in a more alert mindset. That's why it's called a wake-up call, because when she made the decisions, I believe Tia was asleep. She was asleep in her head, and someone needed to wake her up before she made the decisions. And like I said, it didn't even matter if she would have come to the same conclusions. Even if she had come to the same conclusions after someone waking her up, at least she would have been more prepared for the world that she's in now. Because not only was she asleep when she made the decisions, now her wake-up call is coming at this moment, and it's tougher for her. It's a lot tougher for her. She said, my marriage wasn't all that bad. Okay, Tia. There was a lot of good stuff about my marriage. How do you spell regret with a capital R-E-G-R-E-T? Regret. That's what Tia is going through. A lot of regret. But by the time the birthday party comes, that llama rose up in that birthday party, and Jerome had one of the best lines. He said, that llama is fine. He rolled up in here looking like Beyonce. He rode up here looking like Beyonce. They had the jumper. They had the llamas. They had some people that showed up. Who knows if they're people from Cairo school, whether they're people that Tia really knows. We didn't see none of her family members. None of them. Not one of them. Maybe they weren't on camera. I don't know. But not one of them was on camera, so we don't even know if they were there. And once again, she started crying again, talking about how thanks for being a big supporter of hers and giving her the ability to lean on others. Like she's saying she's leaning on them in this moment. Because in the past, people have all leaned on her. Girl. No, Tia, you've been leaning on a lot of people. I know Tia has had this narrative out here that people have always leaned on her. But nothing in this reality TV shows tells me that could be the truth, because Tia is crumbling. She's crumbling. What Tia actually is coming off of is a person that leaned on a lot of other people, took those people for granted. Those people have now exited out of her life, or she's gotten rid of those people. And now that she's really having to stand on her own 2 feet, she's crumbling. Because people who have been there as the rock for other people, even when other people leave, they still stand strong. They stand strong because what they're saying is, wow, what a burden has been lifted off of me, because before I was having to carry so many other people. Now that I've gotten rid of all this dead weight, this feels good. It feels light. But what Tia is experiencing is the opposite. She's experiencing crumbling, which means in her other life, she depended on a lot of people. She may not have realized it. And I think the reason why she didn't realize it is because I think she took the relationships for granted. And what she looked at was she was the one pouring into other people, but she didn't realize what she was getting back from them. She didn't realize it. And now that all those people have left, her sister, her husband is gone. Looks like she ain't seen her cousin in 6 years besides a funeral. She's crumbling. That is not the story of a person who has been the rock in all those situations, and now she's still standing strong. This is a story of a person who has been dependent on a lot of other people for whatever reason, and I'm not even saying that there's wrong with it. And now that those people in her life are not there, she's crumbling. She's crumbling. She did not count her blessings. She did not count her blessings with those people in her life. And now without them, she is crumbling. She's crumbling. Like I said, Jerome said that her daughter, Cairo, is just like her. And we've seen bits and pieces of it. And she says Cairo got an attitude and she's feisty. like we said, we've seen the way that Tia interacted with Tamara on their reality TV show. We've seen some of the things she said on her reality TV show, and I can believe it. I can absolutely believe that Tia is feisty and she can have a big attitude sometimes. And her brothers even said she's bossy. She's bossy. A lot of the work that Tia's going to have to do in her next relationship is really going to be on her. It's really going to be on her. So she finally gives the gift to Cairo and said, here's your birthday present. Cairo looks at it and puts it back in the bag. She's 6 years old. She is 6 years old. She doesn't know the magnitude of getting a bracelet with a diamond in it that comes from her mama's divorce ring. Like I said, this is all about Tia. Tia's trying to give a gift to her daughter, act like it's for her daughter, and her daughter's like, I don't even know what this means. I don't know what this means. It was more for Tia. And I think that sort of sums up Tia's relationships, that she thinks she's doing a lot for other people, but in reality is those people are doing things for her. That giving that gift to her daughter was for her. It wasn't for Cairo. It was for her. That's fine that she wants to do it, but don't frame it as if she's doing it for her daughter. She did it for herself. And so then she starts to talk about, she's happy to give the gift to her daughter. And she says, a few years ago, so she's happy to give the gift to her daughter. And then she tells her daughter that it's from me and your daddy. Girl, that gift ain't from Corey. Another lie. Tia, I know Corey did not come up with the idea or even have the idea that let's give our daughter a piece of our divorced wedding ring. Tia, that's your idea. Own it, girl. Own it. Talking about it's from me and your daddy. No, it ain't. Corey probably gonna get Cairo a doll or something. A doll. Not no diamond from a divorced wedding ring. But you know what? She got to get ready for this date, y'all. She got to get ready for this date. And she said this time, she's going to bring her stylist over to help her, pick out an outfit and everything. And she said she wants to be a little bit more feminine in this dress style she has. She says because a few years ago, she kind of was more living in her masculine, but now she wants to be more in her feminine self. What? What? So when you were married and you had someone that you could depend on to do things for you, that's when you were in your masculine self. But now that you divorced and now you got to do more things on your own independently, now you're going to go to your feminine self? Girl, Tia got so many things backwards. So you was in your masculine self when you were in a relationship with a man who was there to do some things with you. But now that you're independent by yourself doing things alone, now all of a sudden you want to go into your feminine self. Maybe you should have gotten into your feminine self when you was with your man. Who is coaching Tia? I tell you, she's going to have some bad advice out here. She's had bad advice, and now we know she's had some bad preparation for this new life that she's in. Hate to tell you, Tia, but you're going to have to get in your masculine self because you're going to have to be doing a whole lot more for yourself. A whole lot more. Taking out garbage. Well, she do got a 13-year-old son, so he can help with some things around the house. He is now 13 years old. He gonna have to grow up real fast and start fulfilling some of them man roles in the house. Because otherwise, Tia, you're gonna be all in your masculine, all in it. If you don't make that boy in that house start doing some things, hopefully, you're gonna be all in your masculine because you ain't got no one to do nothing. Fix stuff, you gotta do it. You gotta do everything now. Or you're gonna have to go out and spend some money and hire someone to do it. More money, more money, more money. But now she's ready for this date with Charles. She gets there. He says, oh, I'm so happy you showed up and it wasn't your representatives this time. And she likes him. He looks good and everything. And she said, yeah, how's it going? He says, good. I'm enjoying being out here for this is day 2 out here. Day 2, you don't live in LA? Nope, I live in Rhode Island. Oh, good Lord. What? Good Lord. So Tia's is cracking up and laughing, having a good time. And she says she's really nervous because, this is the first time she's really been out with another man. And she's still getting over trying to get used to another man besides her husband. So she said when she's nervous, she laughs a lot. And so they start talking about their children. And she says, yeah, I got a 6-year-old. I got a 13-year-old. And she goes, yeah, it feels weird going out with someone besides my ex. Girl, you ain't ready for dating. You are not ready for dating. And then right away she goes in, what do you want in a relationship? First of all, you better ask, does he want one? Don't assume because he's out here dating that he wants a relationship, Tia. Don't assume it. She went straight to, what do you want in a relationship? And he says, I don't want it to feel like a task or a job. He said he wants to be inspired by his mate. I hate to tell y'all, marriages work, relationships are work, and there are tasks in marriages, there are tasks in relationships, and sometimes it can feel like a job, but that don't mean you can't have a good time. Do you guys have jobs and you don't have a good time at your job? I'm telling you, the way that people have fantasized relationships is one of the reasons why they don't last, because people go into them with fantasies. I hate to tell you that marriages and relationships are work, and they take work, and it's always not about feeling good, but in the end there are rewards. Just like you go to work, and some days you have good days, sometimes you have fun at work, sometimes you don't, but you get a reward at the end of every week. And you know what that reward is? A paycheck. It's a paycheck. And then once you get your paycheck, you go, ooh. You either like your paycheck or you don't like your paycheck, and you go back to work and you do the same old thing. And that's marriage. You do work, you do tasks. Sometimes it's more pleasurable than others, but in the end, you get a reward from marriage, whatever your reward is. And then you say, you know what? This moment right here makes it all worth it. And then what you do is you go back and you do it again. You go back and you do it again. It's like anything in life. It's like having kids. You have bad days, you have good days, and then something your kid does makes you say, oh, I love you so much. And guess what you do? You go out and you have another baby. That's marriage. But you got this man over here saying, I don't want my marriage to feel like a task or a job. You ain't ready. You are not ready. Get rid of it, y'all. Get rid of the fantasies. The sooner you get rid of fantasies in your life, the better you will be more equipped to deal with reality. And then what you'll do is you'll appreciate those good moments more. Instead of thinking every moment should be good, you'll appreciate your good moments, and it will elevate those good moments. And eventually those good moments will overshadow all your bad ones. A lot of problems in marriages and relationships are people's mindsets. Their mindsets, they concentrate on the negative and they blow up the negative. They catastrophize things. Right? They make the negative seem bigger than all the positives. And I'm telling you right now, that's what Tia has done in her life. That's why she needs to be on Xanax. Because what she's done is she's taken the moments in her life that are not good moments and she's made them bigger than what they are. That's what anxiety looks like. Anxiety looks like when you've taken a moment and you've made it bigger than what it is, and it gives you anxiety. That the threat is not as big as you think the threat is. And that's why people have to take medication for it. And what Tia did in her own marriage, she made the threats of her marriage, the bad parts of her marriage, overshadow her good parts. And now that she's out of the marriage and she's in the single life that she thought she wanted, now what she's realizing is, wow, those moments weren't as big as I thought. In fact, even the moment that I'm in right now, I need a Xanax to handle this. I need a Xanax. And she asked the guy, hey, you look great. You look good. You fine. You got all these great qualities about you. Why are you single? And what he said was, because dream girls are rare and you're a dream girl. No, she ain't. Like I said, a fantasy. He said, dream girls are rare and you're the dream girl. No, dream girls aren't only rare, they're a fantasy. Just like dream men are not rare, they're a fantasy. And what she's sitting across from is a man who is living in a fantasy on what a wife looks like, a girlfriend looks like. It's a fantasy. And she's sitting there listening to this man with her dreamy eyes, him telling her how she is her dream girl, until he really gets to know her and realizes she's got a lot of flaws, and she has flaws that are not a part of his dream. And that's what happens, because they think you're a dream until the real world comes in. They say, you don't fit my dream, so therefore I don't really want to marry you. I don't want to be with you. I don't want to be in a relationship with you. Be very afraid of entering into relationships with people who fantasize relationships, because you will eventually let them down. You will not be able to live up to their fantasy. You won't. And then she was sitting there as he kept telling her, you're a dream girl. And all of a sudden she says, oh, I gotta go. You know why? Because all of a sudden she had a wake up call. And her wake up call was, my babysitter got to go home. And there was the dream. You can't sit here all night and talk to this man in this restaurant running up this wine bill. You're not going to go back to his house and have some nice, luscious, fantastic sex. You know why? Because you got to go back to your real life, and your real life is your kids at home, and the babysitter's got to go home. The fantasy's over. Wake up, Tia. Wake up. The real world is back. You got to go home, tuck your kids in, and be a mother. Be a single mother. That's what you got to go do. The date is over. The fantasy is over. Now it's time to wake up. Wake up, Tia. Wake up. Anyway, that's it, y'all. I will talk to you later. Bye.